To make a meatloaf, you need to start with about 2 pounds of quality ground beef, and I also am adding 2 mild Italian sausages. We'll blend this all up together. The sausage gives it a real unique flavor. You don't have to use the sausage, but it does add a different level to the meatloaf. You'll need about a half a cup of chopped onions. I'm using a combination of red bell pepper and orange bell pepper, any kind of bell pepper, no bell pepper, whatever your taste preference. Chopped celery, about 3/4 of a cup, to which I'll add 3 grated cloves of garlic, salt, pepper, herbs of Provence, some breadcrumbs. I'm using my leftover French bread pieces that I keep in the freezer for this kind of an occasion. I'll add oats, chicken broth, Worcestershire sauce, and a couple of eggs. I heated a small amount of oil in a skillet, in a saute pan. I can see it starting to smoke, so it's time to add my chopped vegetables. Stir them around a little bit. This is, we're going to start the sweating process again. We just want to do a light sweat on these vegetables before we add them to our meat mixture. Once you've assembled all of your ingredients to make a meatloaf, there's nothing easier. It just will all come together in just a matter of minutes. Okay, I'm taking my sausages and I'm going to blend them with my hand. There's no other way to do this. You just have to get your hands dirty and mix your meat and your sausage with your fingers and just kind of squeeze it in there. And okay, once you've got it mixed, I still have a little frozen piece there, that's okay. Now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. This is about a teaspoon of salt and pepper, about a tablespoon of herbs of Provence. I'm going to add just a little bit of chicken broth at this point just to help me incorporate these ingredients. And once again, I'm back. I'm going to be just kind of squishing it all together, getting those seasonings well distributed through the meat. I'm keeping an eye on my vegetables that are sweating nicely, and they smell so good. And I know now it's time to add 3 cloves of grated garlic to my vegetables. All right, the next thing that I want to do is add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. This is just a nice flavor enhancer. I don't know, about a tablespoon. Now I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup of, no, I'm going to start with about about 3/4 of a cup of oats. The rest of my, not the rest, but more chicken broth, again with my hands. And the next ingredient that I'll be adding will be the bread and 2 beaten eggs and my sauteed vegetables. My next step is to add some breadcrumbs. I think I probably have too many breadcrumbs here, so I'm going to add them just a little at a time. I've beaten 2 eggs in a bowl, to which I'm going to add the remainder of the chicken broth. And I pulled the milk out of the refrigerator just in case I need a little bit more liquid. You'll know, there's no real recipe for meatloaf. Again, with your hands, you want to start bringing it all together. Yep, this has a nice texture to it. This is going to be just right. And our vegetables are ready to be incorporated. I may add a few more breadcrumbs, but I'm going to add the vegetables first. These vegetables are beautiful. I wish you could smell how delicious they smell. The whole kitchen just smells so good. I'm adding it to this mixture, and now, of course, common sense will tell you you're not going to go plunging your hand into this bowl now that you've added straight off the stove vegetables. So you want it just to kind of sit there for a few minutes before you start mixing it again. I like to use a Pyrex loaf pan. Actually, I prefer to use aluminum loaf pans, but I don't have any. So I take a Pyrex loaf pan that I line with culinary parchment. I don't like to clean out pans. And I'm just going to pack the meat mixture into this pan. It looks like a lot of meat mixture, and it looks like a kind of small pan, but it's all going to come out to be just exactly right. It'll be very dense, but that's as a meatloaf should be. So once you've got it all in the pan, pat it down around the edges. You're ready to go into the oven when you're ready to start your timing.